friends, welcome to my channel The Wheel of Dharma. So today we will highlight the origin of circumcision procedure. Thus we will figure out that this procedure is whether gift or sin. Circumcision is a procedure that removes the foreskin from the human penis. Although circumcision is one of the world's most common and oldest medical procedures, thus prophylactic usage originated in England during the 1850s and subsequently widely spread, becoming predominantly established as a way to prevent sexually transmitted infections. Beyond use as a prophylactic or treatment option in healthcare, circumcision plays a major role in many of the world's cultures and religions, most prominently Judaism and Islam. Although circumcision is among the most important commandments in Judaism, so the origin of circumcision is not known with certainty. The oldest documentation comes from ancient Egypt. The cultural practice of circumcision may have spread from the Central Sahara toward the south in sub-Saharan Africa and toward the east in the region of the Nile. Although based on engraved evidence found on walls and evidence from mummies, circumcision has been dated to at least as early as 6000 BCE in ancient Egypt. Some ancient Egyptian mummies, which have been dated as early as 4000 BCE, show evidence of circumcision. Thus evidence suggests that circumcision was practiced in the Middle East by the 4th millennium BCE, when the Sumerians and the Semites moved into the area that is modern-day Iraq from the north and west. The earliest historical record of circumcision comes from Egypt, in the form of an image of the circumcision of an adult carved into the tomb of Ankh-Mahor Saqqara, dating to about 2400–300 B.C. Although circumcision was possibly done by the Egyptians for hygienic reasons, but also was part of their obsession with purity and was associated with spiritual and intellectual development. No well-accepted theory explains the significance of circumcision to the Egyptians, but it appears to have been endowed with great honor and importance as a rite of passage, performed in a public ceremony emphasizing the continuation of family generations and fertility. Although it may have been a mark of distinction for the elite, the Egyptian Book of the Dead describes the sun god Ra as having circumcised himself. A narrative in the Christian Gospel of Luke makes a brief mention of the circumcision of Jesus, but physical circumcision is not part of the received teachings of Jesus. Although circumcision has played an important role in Christian history and theology, Paul the Apostle reinterpreted circumcision as a spiritual concept, arguing literal circumcision to be unnecessary for Gentile converts to Christianity. Thus the teaching that circumcision was unnecessary for membership in a divine covenant was instrumental to the separation of Christianity from Judaism. While the circumcision of Jesus is celebrated as a feast day in the liturgical calendar of many Christian denominations, although it is not explicitly mentioned in the Quran, early 7th century CE, circumcision is considered essential to Islam, and it is nearly universally performed among Muslims. So the practice of circumcision spread across the Middle East, North Africa, and Southern Europe with Islam. Genghis Khan and the following Yuan emperors in China forbade Islamic practices such as halal butchering and circumcision. Circumcision forbidden by law. The word circumcision is from Latin circumcidere, meaning to cut around. Although in contrast, some religions, such as Mendaism and Hinduism and Sikhism, strongly prohibit the practice of routine circumcision. Christianity. Traditionally, circumcision has not been practiced by Christians for religious reasons, with the practice being viewed as succeeded by baptism, with the New Testament chapter Acts 15 recording that Christianity did not require circumcision from new converts. Mandaism. Circumcision is forbidden in Mandaism, and the sign of the Jews given to Abraham by God, circumcision, is considered abhorrent by the Mandaeans. Although according to Mandaean doctrine, a circumcised man cannot serve as a Mandaean priest. Hinduism, Buddhism and Sikhism. Hindu canons make no reference to circumcision. Although both Hinduism and Buddhism appear to have a neutral view on circumcision, however, Hinduism discourages non-medical circumcision, as according to them, the body is made by Almighty God, and nobody has right to alter it without the consent of the person who is going for it. Thus certain Hindu gurus consider it to be directly against nature and God's design. Sikh infants are not circumcised, while Sikhism criticizes the practice. For example, Bhagat Kabir criticizes the practice of circumcision in the hymn of Guru Granth Sahib. Who gave the circumcision? While the origin of circumcision is debated, there's evidence suggesting it may have originated in ancient Egypt and possibly been associated with the mythology of Osiris. Specifically, the Osiris myth, along with priestly rituals and the potential connection to genital mutilation, has been linked to the practice. Archaeological findings, including depictions in tombs, suggest circumcision was practiced in ancient Egypt as early as 2500 BCE. The myth of Osiris, who was believed to have been murdered and dismembered, may have influenced the practice. Priests of Osiris were expected to emulate the god's sacrifice, and circumcision could have been a less radical but still tangible gesture of devotion. The practice was adopted by the Egyptian priesthood and nobility, possibly due to its association with the gods. Originally, circumcision may have been associated with punishment or genital mutilation, but it later became a sign of aristocracy and religious fidelity. Circumcision was later adopted by Jewish and then Muslim religious cultures, with the Jews possibly borrowing it from the Egyptians, according to some researchers. The myth of Osiris does not explicitly detail circumcision as a practice. However, the myth may have influenced the later adoption of circumcision by some groups in ancient Egypt, possibly as a way to prevent human sacrifice to the deities or as a sign of belonging to a specific social group. While circumcision was practiced in ancient Egypt, there's no direct evidence linking it to the Osiris myth, so the myth is primarily about Osiris's death, resurrection, and his role in the afterlife. The practice of circumcision predates the Osiris myth and is thought to have originated in ancient Egypt, with evidence dating back to 2500 BCE. Some scholars suggest that it may have been adopted by Egyptians and then by other cultures, including Jewish and Muslim traditions. The connection between the Osiris myth and circumcision is not definitive, but the myth may have influenced the practice's later development and adoption by certain groups in ancient Egypt. Circumcision is strongly associated with Semitic religions, although it is a ritual practice deeply embedded in Judaism and Islam and has historical connections to other Semitic cultures. In Judaism, circumcision is a mitzvah, commandment, and a sign of the covenant between God and Abraham, although in Islam, it is considered a sunnah, practice of the Prophet Muhammad, and a sign of belonging to the Muslim community. The term, Semitic people, or Semites, historically referred to an ethnic, cultural, or racial group, primarily associated with the Middle East, including Arabs, Jews, and other groups like the Akkadians and Phoenicians. While originally based on language, the term has been broadened to include other groups with cultural and geographic connections. The term, Semite, originated in the 19th century, linking people who spoke Semitic languages, such as Hebrew, Arabic, and Akkadian, together. It was also inspired by the biblical figure Shem, one of Noah's sons, who was considered the ancestor of many Semitic-speaking peoples. The term, Semitic, has been used to describe a variety of groups, including ancient empire like the Assyrians and Babylonians, and modern groups like Arabs and Jews. Sadutha, the one true God. Mandeans recognize God to be the eternal, creator of all, the one and only in domination, who has no partner, so God Hai Rabbi Yahweh, monad the Egyptian moon Ayajahuti, is worshipped alone and praised as the supreme force of the universe. However, he presides over all the worlds and all of creation. In Mandaism, Sadutha is the belief in one God who mainly worshipped in these world major religions like Sikhism, Judaism, Islam and Christianity. Many Mandean texts and prayers begin with the opening phrase Bi Sumaihung Di Hiya Rabia, classical Mandic, in the name of the great life, Arabic, Bism al-Hay al-Azim, similar to the Basmala in Islam and the Christian Trinitarian formula. The fallen morning star. Yaldabaoth is the son of Sophia, the personification of wisdom according to Gnosticism, with whom he contends, although by creatively becoming matter in goodness and simplicity, Sophia created the imperfect Yaldabaoth, who has no knowledge of the other eons. From his mother he received the powers of light, but he used them for evil, so Sophia rules the Oboas, the demiurge rules the Hebdemas. Yaldabaoth created 6 more archons and other fellows, so the angels he created rebelled against Yaldabaoth. To keep the angels in subjection, Yaldabaoth generated the material universe. In the act of creation, however, Yaldabaoth emptied himself of his supreme powers, so when Yaldabaoth breathed the soul into the first man, Adam, Sophia instilled in him the divine spark of the spirit. After matter, Yaldabaoth produced the serpent spirit, of Iomorphos, which is the origin of all evil, although the light being Sophia caused the fall of man through the serpent. By eating the forbidden fruit, Adam and Eve became wise and rejected Yaldabaoth. Thus eventually, Yaldabaoth expelled them from the ethereal region, the paradise, as punishment. Yaldabaoth continuously attempted to deprive human beings of the gift of the spark of light which he had unwittingly lost to them, or to keep them in bondage. As punishments, he tried to make humanity acknowledge him as God, although because of their lack of worship, he caused the flood upon the human race, from which a feminine power such as Sophia or Pronaya rescued Noah. Yaldabaoth made a covenant with Abraham, in which he was obligated to serve him along with his descendants. Thus the biblical prophets were to proclaim Yaldabaoth's glory, but at the same time, through Sophia's influence, they reminded people of their higher origin and prepared for the coming of Christ. At Sophia's instigation, Yaldabaoth arranged for the generation of Jesus through the Virgin Mary, so for his proclamation, he used John the Baptist. At the moment of the baptism organized by Yaldabaoth, Sophia took on the body of Jesus and through it taught people that their destiny was the kingdom of light, spiritual world, not the kingdom of darkness, material universe. Only after his baptism did Jesus receive divine power and could perform miracles, but since Jesus destroyed his kingdom instead of promoting it, Yaldabaoth had him crucified, so before his martyrdom, Christ escaped from the bodily shell and returned to the spiritual world. The one who got cut was the devil, and in revenge he got everybody's penises circumcised and cut off. So the devil is Yaldabaoth, who known by many names like Lucifer, Samael, Ariel, Sakla, Shahar, the Kshar Purush, the outcast Kal Brahma.